Coming up, I'll tell you how I recovered from extreme burnout, and then should you be preparing for a bigger check in 2023? And, oh my gosh, a company lays off thousands of people via text? Let's go. All right, welcome to the Ken Coleman Show, where I help you win at work and in life. In other words, more money, more meaning. All right, going to get personal with you today. How I, man of the people, by the people, for the people, recovered from extreme burnout. In fact, it is this story that has the evolution of what I do today inside of it. If you are extremely burned out, borderline hopeless, wildly frustrated, deeply discouraged, I know exactly what you're feeling, and I have come out of it. And so I'm going to share a bit of my story. Now, I want to tease what we're doing this week. Each day this week, we're going to be doing a little bit of burnout boot camp, shall we say. And we're going to cover the 5 main causes of burnout in depth this week. But I have to share with you the gut-wrenching, agonizing burnout that I dealt with nearly 15 years ago. I was in the Atlanta suburbs, Stacy and the 3 kids. The kids were, let's say we had 3, and they were at this point 3 under the age of 5. Yikes. It's a miracle I have any hair at all, by the way. I don't recommend to any parent that you have kids that close. I mean, if you do it, and you got to get through it. I wouldn't recommend it, Alex. It was brutally hard. So let me give you the story. I'm working for myself, small business that Stacey and I were running together. It was an offshoot of a job that she had. She came home to be with the kiddos when we adopted Ty. And so that was going to be the path. And so we had worked, both of us, for a company in Atlanta, and the company had been sold 2 years prior to this story beginning. And I was laid off as a result of it. I was an executive, and many times when you're a part of an acquisition, the company that buys the company will lay off executives that they're inheriting because they don't feel like they need it, and they were bringing it. And again, they were very classy, very nice. I must tell you, this part of the story was, they were very nice. They laid me off, very nice about it. I understood it, saw it coming, was prepared for it emotionally. So it wasn't terribly awful. Well, prior to that, I had been for about a year in a malaise of meaningless work. I was in a leadership role. I was good at the role. I had the talent for it. I was good at it, but I did not love the role. And the role was not creating results that mattered to me. And I was wrestling with what was my contribution, having felt like I had gotten to this point professionally to set myself up to run for political office. I had a great business resume, leadership resume. I'm in my early 30s. I could run for something and be a young politician. And now it was the path, and I began the climb. That was the whole setup. But I realized a couple years prior to this that I don't think politics is it. And so I was just in a state of flux. That was contributing a factor to I don't know where I want to go. But I kept just going with it. And so I'm in a meaningless job, good money. I'm talented, driving results. And so the malaise began to tear away at my heart. What are you doing? You're not doing politics, but you're not doing anything else that you love. You're just kind of hovering. Not stuck, but hovering. Just kind of hanging in there. Well, then the company gets bought. I get laid off. So now, where I've been hovering, just kind of hanging out, now I've been pushed out of the nest. I got to do something. Do I go work for somebody else or work for myself? Well, opportunities began to come my way to do consulting. Stacy was going to keep doing what she was doing for a while. We had the idea that maybe we could do it as a side hustle, maybe turn it into a company. Well, when we adopted Ty, she came home. We said, all right, let's do that. And so we created our own company. I was doing consulting and then helping her with sponsorship sales. And we were a small company that sold sponsorships for live events. Everything from exhibit booths to ads and conference notebooks to big sponsorships that involve stagings. And I got to tell you something, we were good at it. I did the selling, she did the logistics, and I worked from home, and I was dying. What had already started working for a company in an executive position just continued when I was working for myself. This idea of working from home. I was doing work from home before it was popular. I worked for myself. I was my boss. Turns out I was a really sucky boss for me. Let me tell you what it looked like. I wouldn't start work until 9:30, 10 o'clock because I was just putting it off. Working with the kids, and that was my excuse. I'd help Stacy out in the morning, but I was just trying to delay going to work for me. Couldn't finish fast enough. I would be in the middle of a deal, and I would be half in the conversation. Half working with the client, the other half just going, what is next for me? The agony began, though, not with work each day, but when I would go to bed each night. Couldn't go to sleep. I'd read, I'd watch awful infomercials, try to fall asleep. Could not fall asleep because I would lay awake at night and I would stare at the ceiling, and I realized I was 32, 33 years of age, and I was not happy professionally. I was not doing what I was created to do, but even worse than the knowledge of knowing that I wasn't doing what I was created to do, I wasn't sure what it was. Is there anything worse than that? To know you're not happy, but to not know why? It's horrible. It feels so confusing. And then the confusion turns into disillusion and discouragement and despondency and depression. I was taking care of the family. We weren't struggling financially. But I'm here to tell you, that doesn't salve the wound. The wound of feeling as though you have wasted your life. Now, that was not true, but that's how I felt. I was not doing something that was lighting me up. I was not dreaming or envisioning a future anymore. I was just trying to make it through each day. Just trying to fall asleep at night, but my soul ached. If that's you today, I want to tell you what I wish I could have told myself. Number one, I hadn't wasted anything in my life. The experiences, the pain, the frustration, all of that would one day be bottled up, purified, and redirected. And that's my hope for you. That if you feel as though the flame is completely burned out, I got good news for you. If you're listening to me or watching me right now and you're experiencing the burnout that I did, I got news for you. The flame is not extinguished because you are alive. And we're going to help you this week. We're going to go deep. What I had to understand was what was the source of the burnout that was fogging my brain to where I could not see a vision. I literally couldn't dream because I was so stuck in the fog of burnout. We're going to break it down all week this week. You don't want to miss it. Get your friends, your family to watch each day. We're going to go deep and we're going to help you out. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Did you know that just like a product, you have a personal brand? It's the image or impression others form about you based on your interactions. And whether we realize it or not, our personal brand impacts opportunities to grow in our careers. That's why our team created the Personal Brand Survey. It's free, and it will give you personal and professional feedback so you can own your strengths and uncover any blind spots holding you back. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/brand.
Hail to the victors, the mighty victors of the Michigan Wolverines. I did not want to address it at the start of the show. We had business to get to. We got a lot to get to in this segment, but I know some of you watching are not surprised. Some of you watching are surprised. It never fails to surprise people on social media where people realize I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a Southerner. I know I've got the accent. My dad went to school there. My mom's from there, so there you go. And so when you're born and raised in a house that's a radical indoctrinated fan base, you either accept it or reject it, and I accepted it. And so Michigan vanquished our bitter foe and rival, the Buckeyes from Ohio, and it was glorious, Alex. If you want to know if I really am rabid, you can go to my Instagram page. You can see the reel there. My wife was downstairs because my son and I are superstitious, and we're the only ones allowed to watch the game in the bonus room. So everybody else in the family has to watch it in another location. Listen, Amanda, no judgment. We love Stacy, all right? But she gets it. So she's downstairs in the living room, and when we have the big breakaway touchdown that really sealed the game by Donovan Edwards, well, she was filming downstairs, listening to Chase and I lose our ever-loving minds. Go watch it on Instagram at Ken Coleman. That's real, by the way. I had no idea she was filming. Ran downstairs to kiss my wife because that's what you do when you vanquish your bitter foe. You celebrate and love your family. Nathan, you know what I'm talking about. When the Vikings win big, you want to give your wife a smooch. It's just natural. And so I lost my mind and almost my voice, by the way, Alex. I rested the voice yesterday because I was hoarse yesterday, Saturday evening. There's too much yelling and screaming going on. All right. So thus I've got the Michigan sweater on today, and there you go. I don't know that the chat room really cares. I don't think they're saying much about it at all, are they? Oh, they did? Okay, very good. All right, let's get to some news here. This is what you come to the show for. I reported on this last week, but this is popping up, so I'm going to hit this very quickly and move on. A new survey from Willis Towers Watson, a consulting firm, has showed that overall salary increases in the United States will be the most since 2007. So again, should you expect a bigger pay? I don't like the word expect. That could put you in a negative emotional state. I have a friend who recently did their annual review and they demanded a raise and they got canned. Careful. So don't expect it, but understand that we still are in a very, very good environment. So if you're thinking about a growth plan, you're showing value, you're not demanding anything, could happen for you. All right, next story. Okay, I'm going to save that one for last. Here's the next one. This is employers rethink the need for college degrees in a tight labor market. Duh. Google, Delta, IBM, all reducing requirements for some positions. This is a great trend. I told you it was going to happen. I'm glad it's happening. I hope it catches on. Companies such as Google, Delta Airlines have reduced education requirements and shifted hiring to focus more on skills and experience. Duh. By the way, a kid fresh out of college with a diploma doesn't have much of either one of those categories, skills or experience. Maryland cut the college degree requirements for many state jobs earlier this year. Smart move by Governor Larry Hogan. And incoming Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro campaigned on a similar initiative. We'll see how that goes. It led to a surge in filling state government positions in Maryland. U.S. job postings requiring at least a bachelor's degree were 41% were 41% in November. So 41% of all job postings in November required at least a bachelor's degree. Now that's down from 46% at the start of 2019. It still needs to drop more. We had a caller, I think, last week that said that she couldn't get a job. She had 20-some years experience, I believe, she said. And she couldn't get hired. That was her narrative. But she had applied, looked at several jobs that she had tons of experience with, and they all required a degree. And I told her right there on the air, that's the dumbest thing ever. I wish I could call every one of those companies' HR people, get them on the line and go, can I ask you a question? If I had someone who had 20 years experience but no college degree, would you look at them right now? What do you think that HR director would say to me on the phone? They'd probably go, well, yeah, we'd probably like to talk to them. But wait a second, your website says they got to have a degree. This is nonsensical. It's the old children's story. The emperor has no clothes. The emperor's walking around, thinks he has an invisible gown on. He's naked. Nobody wants to tell the emperor that he's naked. Like, at what point do leaders and companies go, hey, listen, we're having a hard time getting talent. Why do we have the degree requirement? Cue the Jeopardy music. I mean, it's so stupid. The companies that are doing it, we're talking big-time companies, Delta, largest airline in the world. What are they looking for? Skills and experience. The diploma. It's worthless. Rip it up. All right. I've sufficiently freaked out some of you with that last statement. The shift comes as the demand for workers remains high and unemployment is low. Job postings far outpace the number of unemployed people looking for work. 10.7 million openings in September compared with 5.8 million unemployed. That does not include, by the way, 7 million men aged 22 to 55 who aren't even looking for work. The 5.8 million unemployment number are people who are actually wanting to work. So there's a huge gap and demand remains high. More than 100,000, here's more information. More than 100,000 people in the U.S. have completed Google's online college alternative program that offers training in fast-growing fields such as digital marketing and project management. You know what the number one course is for Ramsey Academy? My partnership with Ramsey Education here is project management. Every one of our cohorts sells out. You know what? I mean, it's hundreds of dollars. That's it. And just weeks of your time. Bethel Tech. We have over 50 people right now from the Ken Coleman Show audience that are in the 9-month program, $15,000 with Bethel Tech to jump right into the technology industry. The majority of its U.S. roles at IBM no longer require a 4-year degree. This is IBM, gold standard technology company. The majority of their roles don't require a 4-year degree. Delta eased its educational requirements for pilots at the start of this year, saying a 4-year college degree was preferred but no longer required. Can I just tell you something as a guy who flies the friendly skies? I don't care if my pilot has a degree. I just want to know that he's really experienced and can land the freaking plane. That's all I care about. I want to get home so I can watch the next Michigan beatdown of Ohio. This is what I want. Oh, I slipped that in there again. I couldn't help myself. Okay, Walmart, the country's largest private employer, says it values skills and knowledge gained through work experience and that 75% of its U.S. salaried store management started their careers in hourly jobs. Walmart. All right. Nominee for worst company ever. Here it is. I needed it. I don't have a drum roll, do I? I don't. All right, here it is. Mississippi-based United Furniture Industries. Nominee for worst company all time. I'm putting it on the list. I need to compile a list. And every year, give out my awards. Maybe I'll do that. All right, we'll see. Around 2,700 workers at United Furniture Industries lost their jobs on Monday, the Monday prior to Thanksgiving. And you know how they found out? A memo via email or text. Most of the workers were sleeping and woke up to this news. Email and text. In a follow-up email, United Furniture Industries said the layoff is expected to be permanent and all benefits will be terminated immediately without provision of COBRA. Now, COBRA is a federal law that provides people who lose their jobs with the option to keep their employer-sponsored health insurance coverage. So it's just, see ya, bye, Felicia, you're out. This is my favorite thing. The reason for the layoffs? The board of directors came up with this statement. Unforeseen business circumstances. Well, that's a bold-faced lie. If you're in the furniture business and they had fired their CEO, COO, and head sales VP in the summertime, you're telling me that they didn't know things were tanking then? This is garbage. I hope they never sell another piece of furniture ever. It's awful. Treat people with dignity. They knew this was coming. Come on. A memo, a text, an email, shame on you.
So you just landed the new job. Congratulations. You've made it past the interviews and now it's time to onboard with excellence. That's why I created How to Stand Out at Your New Job. This free checklist will help you succeed from day one and may even help you get promoted. These practical steps set you up to add value, help your team win, exceed your leaders' expectations, and ultimately set you up for a successful transition. To get started, just go to kencoleman.com/new.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you with us. By the way, if you're loving the show, enjoying the show, share the show. Would you do it? Share it. You are the greatest marketing strategy that anyone could have. Word of mouth. It matters. So like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Would you do that? I would be thankful. All right. If you're just joining the show, yes, I'm wearing a Michigan sweater today because I wanted to stick it just as, obviously as I could stick it to all those Ohio Buckeye fans. By the way, in the control room, did you think that the Suckeyes comment was a little too much at staff meeting today? Or I thought it was right on point. I thought it was on point.
I thought it was on point. Yeah, that was good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we I had an announcement today at staff meeting, and 1,200 employees or 1,100, whatever we got. And I called them the Suckeyes, and I didn't plan to say it. And I had just a tinge of regret, and I'm over it now. All right, top 10 most regretted college majors, and then the degrees that graduates wish they had pursued instead. So where's the regret when it comes to college degrees? All right, so we're gonna pay that off. Okay, so 44%. Let's give you context on this. 44% of all job seekers with college degrees regret their field of study. 44%. I mean, How much more data do I need to supply you folks to prove that what I've been saying since the inception of the show is true? That it is slowly dying. It's losing relevance. 44%? Ay, ay, ay. Journalism, sociology, communications, and education all top the list of the most regretted college majors. Now, I'm going to pause for just a second. This coincides with the amount of teachers that are leaving, and they're leaving in droves. Education topped the list of the most regretted college majors because it got them into teaching, and then they got into the cesspool, the dumpster fire that is public school education. Environment sucks. It's burning out not just teachers, but administrators, principals, leaving in droves. By the way, it's not my opinion. Those are the numbers that even the NEA supplied. So, there you go. Computer science majors with an average annual starting salary of almost $100,000 were the happiest overall. This is a ZipRecruiter survey. I love ZipRecruiter, my friends over there. And business administration is number 2. So computer science major in business administration, which again, a business administration degree doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be a leader. You don't even need a business administration degree, and I can tell you this, you don't need a computer science major. Look up the average cost of a computer science major, and then think about the $15,000 you could spend in a 9-month online program with Bethel Tech. BethelTech.net, by the way. Call them, talk to them, say, Ken sent me. They're going to take great care of you. We got some great success stories coming your way in 2023. I'm already hearing about them, and we're going to keep sharing them. But we have several people that have transitioned from their career path into technology, no previous experience. But again, why would you get a 4-year degree when you can go to Bethel Tech in 9 months and spend $15,000? And they'll let you cash flow it. All right, so let's look at the list. Let's go deep dive. And I'm going to give you a little bit of analysis. So we're going to put this list on the screen for our viewing audience, okay? So here are the most regretted college majors. So you got journalism, and let me just tell you why, okay? Journalism is thankless and almost payless. You've heard of Payless Shoe Source? Journalism is tough. You have a very small percentage of people in journalism that make very good money. That's just a fact. And it's thankless. A lot of tough hours. That's why that one's high. Sociology. Again, Sociology majors, people that are in social work. You talk about the salt of the earth, good people. But it is thankless. A lot of these are government, state, and municipality positions. And it's tough work on the heart, on the soul, dealing with people that are the least of these and in really tough situations. And they don't make hardly any money. That's why they're high. Liberal arts general studies. Well, let me tell you why this is regretted. Because that's basically spitting into the wind. Have you done that ever? You ever just spit right into the wind? Highly recommend it. If you've never done it, because let me tell you why that's a good exercise. Then you could truly understand frustration. Like getting a liberal arts general studies degree. Just put your head out the window today, get a good loogie, I mean a good one, with some girth to it, and just and spit it right into the wind. And then just let that happen. And then go, this is what it's like to get a worthless degree. There you go. I'm just telling you. I'm keeping it real. 72% of people who got a liberal arts general studies degree regret it. Yeah. By the way, Alex, of the two analogies that were rolling around in my head, be glad I went with that one. Next, communications, 64%. Now, let me tell you something. You go pick up a magazine like Kiplinger's, or I don't know how you say it, Kiplinger's or whatever. You go pick up U.S. News and World Report, you're always going to see a communications degree high on the list. It's the biggest hype. It's like Ohio State football. It's a lot of hype. Communications degree, it's so good. It's so transferable. Oh, you can do a lot with it. Yeah. Ohio State, they're so good. They're going to whip your butts in Columbus. Well, you see how that worked out, and you see how this worked out. That's real talent, by the way, to be able to work in a shot at your rival in the midst of content. 64% of communications majors regret it. Education, I already explained that. Marketing, management, and research. Again, kind of a general marketing degree. You go get the degree and you realize, wait a second, I could have got the same job without a degree at all. Medical, clinical assisting. Again, kind of an expensive degree. And you get out, and especially if you didn't pay for it cash, and you realize you're not making much money, and you're watching the PA and the doctors roll in with the nicer cars that they can't afford either. I'm just telling you, it drives people out of it. Political science, government, biology, English language, literature. There you go. All right, those are that round out the most regretted. Now let's talk about the least regretted college majors. Computer and information sciences. Again, high levels of enjoyment because you're into tech and you got a pretty high ceiling. But again, I wouldn't get a major. I would go to Bethel Tech. By the way, people that go to Bethel Tech, betheltech.net, by the way, starting at $70,000, $75,000 a year. Criminology. All right, now, these are people that are very specific. They want to beat the bad guys. They want to put them away. High levels of missional, motivational results here. That's why. Engineering, same deal. These are critical thinkers, process people. You know, it's very specific, and there's a lot of different directions you can go with engineering. Nursing, again, huge heart people here. Caregivers, right? Battle lines. It's worthwhile. Now, it's again, a lot of nurses burn out. I don't want to oversimplify this and de-emphasize burnout, but I'm telling you, this is a very specific major, and it has a lot of opportunity. Business administration and management, again, leadership opportunities here. Finance, psychology, again, front lines, meeting people where they are, that kind of stuff. Construction trades, come on. Why do you need a degree in construction trades? I don't get that one. But hey, people are spending money on that. I wouldn't do it. I'd go to a trade school. If that's what they're talking about, then trade schools, yes. And then rounding out the list here, human resource management. Now, all that to say, those of you that are thinking about transitioning, you feel stuck, you don't feel fulfilled, and you're thinking, I got to go get a degree. Do you? 44% of American workers right now regret the degree in the field they're in. This show is free. The Get Clear Career Assessment is $30. From Paycheck to Purpose is like $20 probably at kencoleman.com. The Proximity Principle is probably $20 at kencoleman.com. Everything you need to win is right in front of you. You don't need a degree. And if you do, you're locked into that one anyway if you want to go into law or medical or scientific field. So decide, what is it you really want to do? Why do you need to do it? Well, let's create a path for you. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
You were created to fill a unique role through your work, but it can feel overwhelming to figure out what that is. That's why I created the Get Clear Career Assessment. In just 15 minutes, you'll get customized results that clarify what you do best, the work you love to do, and the results that motivate you. All this helps you discover what you were born to do. And you'll get a list of professional possibilities to help you in your job search. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/assessment.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. So I was just talking about the degrees that most people regret. By the way, 44% of workers in America regret their degree. So I was going through the list, and somebody in the chat room, which I like the username. Oh boy, I just had it. Something Mouse. Oh, Cheerful Mouse, which I think that's a lovely username. I want to meet this person. But anyway, Cheerful Mouse said, Ken, did you get a degree in journalism? And did the smiley face. And I'm very excited to answer this question. I did not get a degree in journalism. In fact, I did not get a degree at all. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. All right? And I'm not going to get a degree. Although I will say this, because Damon the suit is in the, my brand leader is in the control room. So when I get nervous when he comes in, and he's very powerful and tells me what to do and runs everything that I do. There he is. Look at that bald head. That great looking head. Anyway, where was I going? Oh, Damon, the only way I would get a degree at this point in my life is if I could get Liberty University and Michigan to come together and transfer all of my credits from Liberty to Michigan. And then Michigan just went ahead and said, based on all your work experience, we're going to go ahead and credit you the rest of the credits. I don't want to do anything. I don't feel like I need to do anything. But that would be the only way I get a degree is I would transfer it to Michigan. Nothing against my dear friends at Liberty. But at this point, that would be the only way. So if anybody from the University of Michigan watches, you know anybody there, and they can pull some strings to get me an honorary degree, I'm in. I'll call somebody. Damon will. He's going to call somebody. He's very powerful, folks. All right. Ann is up in Evansville, Wisconsin. Ann, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How are you?
Well, I'm very happy today, if you must know.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. How can I help?
So I'm a college student, and I'm not sure about my current major, and I'm wondering if I even need a degree to do what I want to do.
Probably not, based on the way you said that, because you're a very smart lady, I can tell. What is the thing that you want to do?
So I want to help women who are struggling with their mental health or just kind of looking at their health holistically. So yeah, and
okay.
I'm really into personal growth stuff.
Okay,
so.
And so when you say a woman's health holistically, I know you've thought about this. What would be some if I called you today and I said, Ann, I got a friend and she needs your help, what would be the areas you would be most excited about helping her in when you say holistically?
Like how to give you the tools you need to organize your life and
so more coaching, not counseling and therapy.
Yes.
Okay, great. The reason I put you on the spot, and I know I put you on the spot, and you did wonderful, by the way, because you got time to figure this out. But what we're trying to get to is, do you need a degree to do what you want to do? And if you want to coach women, and it's more around personal growth strategies, that's life coach, career coach type stuff. It's not licensed therapist. So you don't need a degree. But if you want to be a licensed therapist and do counseling, you do need a degree. So so if that's what you called about and say, okay, hey, this is what I want to do, because I think there's a lot of different areas you could do what you want to do, and they don't require a degree. It just requires the ability to love on women and have some specific strategies. I think some coaching certifications would serve you very, very well, but a degree is not necessary to do what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Is that what you were feeling anyway, and you just needed some confirmation?
Yes.
All right, so here's your homework assignment. Before you drop out of school or whatever, you need to figure out what 2 or 3 different mountaintops would look like for you to climb that would be dream jobs, where you're using what you do best to do what you love to produce results that matter to you. And then let's research that and go, okay, what is involved here? Some coaching certifications, some experience. Do I want to get into nutrition alongside of some other things? Because when you said holistic, that made me think that you kind of got several areas of interest. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. So find somebody who's doing what you want to do for women. Like find them, whether it's online or in Wisconsin or wherever you want to be. Let's find some women who are doing the type of thing you want to do for women and study what they're doing. If they'll talk to you and give you advice, do that too. But that is just absolutely incredible. And by the way, let's give Ann, let's give her my Get Clear assessment and From Paycheck to Purpose as my gift to get you started. But I love your heart, Ann, and that's the $1 million question. Do I need a degree to do what I want to do? And I would tell you, where's my label? No degree required. I need a stamp. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, I want to say hi to Alexander Daly, who is joining us live on YouTube for the first time. How about that, Alexander? I see you. Thank you, sir. He says, first time watching Ken live. How do we get the opportunity to ask Ken for coaching? Well, it's a toll-free number. It goes like this, 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. And everybody in the chat room, make Alexander feel welcome. I mean, I want a lot of love coming at him. I want him to be slightly overwhelmed. And if he has questions about my sweater, I'll let you all explain. I've already talked about it enough today. Let's go to Brooke in Bryan, Texas. Brooke, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, how are you?
Brooke, I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
I am going to talk to you and then go to class.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I might, you know what, depending on how this goes, I might give you a permission slip to skip class. We'll see how it goes.
That would be great.
Yep. All right. So what's going on?
So I'm currently majoring in nutrition.
Okay, Brooke,
become a
hold on one
registered-
second. Let's get your phone, if you can get it maybe positioned right on your mouth. You're a little bit muffled.
Is this better?
It is better. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm currently majoring in nutrition to become a registered dietitian, but I'm currently thinking about becoming a teacher. I just still don't know, though. I feel pretty lost, and I'm scared I will pick a career that I will get burnt out on.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to get to that fear in a second, but I want to start by saying all you have to do is actually observe and ask. That's it. Observe and ask, and your heart's going to reveal to you. So you don't need to be really afraid. I want to get to what's behind the fear in a moment, because I think that's the biggest issue today. But from a practical nature, Ken, how do I pick? I mean, is nutrition the right thing? Do I want to be, I thought about being a teacher. And okay, we don't have to worry about that. All we have to do is 2 words, observe and ask. Now, do you understand what I'm saying, or you need me to unpack that for you?
I guess like a little bit.
Great.
A little bit.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to observe, whether it's online, if there's a nutritionist who has an Instagram page, a YouTube channel locally in the area where you're going to school, and you can reach out to them and say, hey, is it appropriate? Do you allow people to shadow your work? And that's what I mean by observe. If they've got Instagram reels and posts, go observe. Find 5 awesome nutritionists that have a good following and good content on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, and just observe. In other words, digest, okay? And when you're digesting and observing, it's going to be pretty apparent to your heart. Your heart is either going to get excited or more interested or disinterested. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, now listen. If you get with somebody, you ask lots of questions. Favorite part of your day? Worst part of your day? Best way to get qualified to do what you do? How'd you grow your business? Do you understand the observe is to, it's almost from afar and up close, but then beyond observing, I want to ask a lot of questions, and you're very, very smart, Brooke. You know the kind of questions that you need to ask. True or false?
Yes.
All right.
True.
I think I hear a smile on your face. Is this true? All right. That's good. And the reason that is good is because now you realize, wait a second, I don't need to be afraid anymore. Is that true? All right.
Yes.
Now, I want to spend the remainder of our time, because remember, we're working on a permission slip for you to miss class. I know your professor will love getting that from me. What is behind this fear that you're going to make the wrong decision?
Well, I guess, I'm in college. I don't want to, waste my college degree. And then I've already picked a bunch of different careers, and then I learn about them, and I kind of, lose interest.
But isn't that good? Isn't that good?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I would rather be talking to Brooke, who has picked several different areas of professional interest, and then she's canceled them out, as opposed to talk to Brooke, who picked one, never researched it, didn't listen to her gut, and calls me 10 years from now. So I like the fact that you're crossing stuff off the list.
Yeah.
But I want to go deeper. Is there something from your environment, your story, where you don't have confidence or you feel like a flake in some way? I just feel like I hear that on you. And if I'm wrong, tell me.
No, I would say that's pretty true.
Where's that coming from?
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I don't really.
Where's that lack of confidence coming from? What's your best guess?
I guess I would say it's a little bit in the way I was raised.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a narrative in your head that you're going to screw up or that you can't succeed. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I listen, this is what matters. This was the part of the question. And that's what's driving this almost frenetic, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this. And it's like you're almost afraid to let your heart choose. Is that true? Yeah. Are you worried about disappointing your family?
No, not really so much anymore.
Good.
Maybe used to, but.
Yeah. So, you know what's fun about the start of the phone call?
Or what?
Is that you said nutrition and or teaching. And you know what's great about both of those? They involve the same core missional result. You want to influence people. True or false?
No, that's true.
So I want to take some pressure off of you, and I mean this, because you've listened or watched me enough to trust me to call me today. So you've heard me say something along these lines. But Brooke, you could be very happy and successful as a teacher and or a nutritionist, and neither one of them would be a wrong decision. Because it's going to come down to the environment in which you do either one of those things. Because the result, while it looks different to the average viewer to look in and go, well, Brooke's a nutritionist or Brooke's a teacher. See, I go below the surface result And so whether I'm helping a woman or a man turn their nutrition life around and their consumption, and maybe turn their physical life around, and probably their mental and emotional life around, because they start treating their body like the machine that God created to be, and all of a sudden it starts performing better, and they start looking better, feeling better. I mean, that is a cascade, a waterfall of unbelievable positive results. Well, so that's the outward result, but underneath you're just teaching them. And then if you're teaching high schoolers or college kids or elementary school kids, and you find that little kid that's like a little Brooke who just needed to be encouraged and believed in and challenged, and that outward result looks different than nutrition, but it's the same result. You know what it is? It's influence, Brooke. It's influence. So I want you to go back to the homework assignment I gave you, and I want you to observe and ask. And I want you to listen to your heart. And I want you to, the voice inside your head that says you're not enough, the voice inside your head that says you're going to make the wrong decision, the voice inside your head that says you'll never be a success. I can tell you something. That's not your voice. That's a voice from the pit of hell, and it's influenced by experience and people and environment and all that stuff. But it's not true. Do you believe me?
Mm-hmm, I believe you.
All right. I'm so proud of you, and thank you for being vulnerable. I think you've touched so many people today. I really do. And I hope you're confident. So I want you to hang on the line. I'm going to give you the Get Clear assessment, which is going to give you further confidence. And I'm going to give you From Paycheck to Purpose. The assessment is the compass that'll help you verify the North Star, the mountaintop, whatever you want to use there. And then the book is the guide to help you climb up the mountain. Brooke, I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you. Hang on the line. Brooke and everybody else, remember this: you matter, and you do have what it takes. Press on.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.